for them if we did this more often, but
Yeah.
we are live, I believe. Let's double check. And we are live. Whoa, whoa, wow. Okay, we are
Yep.
live.
Looks like we're
We
live.
are we are live.
Wow. Opening weekend just happened.
Hey, we got 2 viewers. Hello, hello. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
So, man, well, let me ask you this. How tired are you today?
Uh should I do like a dumb dead joke? I'm as tired as a zombie.
Ah, you're like a literal zombie right now, huh? You
Hello,
might be able
welcome, Taco Face.
you might be able to tell, but my voice is a bit shot. Um, Not only from screaming, but also I was wearing a mask all weekend and I had to talk like extra loud so people could hear me.
Yeah,
And
you know why you have to talk loud?
why?
Because Marathon of Minions is wait a minute. Oh, Marathon of
You
Mayhem is very, very loud.
It
I
is.
did not believe the team member in the prop shop that warned me and Eddie Tainment, another member of the Boo Bro. He told us it was loud. I was like,
Mhm.
nah, maybe that was just team member preview. They're working out things. No,
No, it
that
was
that
loud.
show is extremely loud.
Yeah. Dude, I saw a tweet, like, I think it was after TM preview as well. I can't remember who tweeted it, but they were like, "This year is, like, exceptionally loud."
It
Like,
is.
and it
It,
is.
it, it does a good job of covering everything though.
Yeah. Um, I would say, like, the park-wide music as well is, like,
Oh yeah.
bangers
I,
only.
I was gonna say it's all for Connor.
It's
It's
all,
like
like
it's like they dipped into your Spotify
it's
playlist and
it's,
was
like,
like,
all heavy
"Ooh."
riffs and stuff, it's pretty wild.
And it works so well. And what's good about that too, I did notice this is that the metal or that soundtrack changes the event from what it was last year where or 2 years ago where it was still very 80s and Sith and it
Yeah.
it really almost changed the feeling of the event because it feels very aggressive, very loud, very
That's a good
like
point.
we are
Sure.
back to like scare the heck out of you.
Yeah, like 29 and 28 kinda had a similar vibe. It was very, like, neon and, like, 80s
Yeah,
and synth.
creepy and kinda like
This is like
unsettling.
this is
Yeah.
like rock and roll is the vibe, I would say, aggression. Um,
Took everything from Carnival of Carnage and like exploded and like threw it up all over the park.
right. Um, we got a couple comments here. Ro plays, how's it going? This is about Orlando, by the way.
Yeah,
Hollywood is
sorry.
next.
Hollywood hasn't started yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hollywood is next week.
Yep.
And, hello to Javier. How you doing? Um, so we're gonna start with, the shows. Confession, um, we have only seen one show, and that is Marathon of Mayhem. Uh, Neither of us were able to catch Nightmare Fuel over the course of this opening weekend, but that's the only thing that we have not done, so we're
Correct.
not gonna talk about that. But what did you think about
I mean,
Marathon
I
of
can I
Mayhem?
can briefly tell you what I've heard from other things about it, but,
Okay, okay.
it's I've heard the dancing is okay, but it feels there was one person I talked with, she said it felt like a Walmart branded Academy of Villains show.
Oh my god. Wow.
Like, I can see them trying to replicate that maybe, because it does have some dance sequences, music, some, flames and stuff, and, a little bit of Circus Soleil type stuff,
Mhm.
and a little bit of magic thrown in there. So it kind of feels like it's like a buffet of stuff.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I've heard, like, pretty good reviews about it. Like, I've heard it's pretty good. I've seen a couple people that really enjoyed it. So, I'm interested to see it, but it's just kinda tough sometimes to carve out the time to go over to Fear Factor Live and, like,
Hey,
all that stuff.
carve out.
Carve.
But yeah,
But
it is because once you see the time frame, you're like, do I watch Minion of no, wait a minute, what's the full title?
for the Fear Factor show,
Oh, yeah, 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 what is it
the
called?
Halloween Nightmare Fuel.
No, 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 the one ran by Jack.
Oh, Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory.
Jesus Lord. Makes me think of Fear Factor.
Oh, yeah, because the factor is in
Mhm.
the title.
Or Factory.
Yes, but what did you think of Marathon of Mayhem? We caught that together on opening night.
Ooh, man, this I was wrong when I said that I wasn't very excited about any of the shows. Um Jury out on the other show, but this show, wow. They 2 for 2, man. They did it
Yeah,
last year and I thought it was perfect. How could they
mhm,
match that? How could they do it? And I'd say they came about as close as I wanted them to. I mean,
yeah,
I could nitpick. I could slightly nitpick here and there, but it's still a fantastic, amazing show. It's probably one of the best additions to Horror Nights.
yeah, they're really finally utilizing that lagoon to its full
Mhm.
potential. I think, I think it's amazing. I do, and I will say that I did like, 29's just marginally better, but I
Yeah.
think it's just because the properties that they had at
Mhm.
29 just translated super well for a music show. 'Cause when you think of Ghostbusters, Killer Clowns, um,
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, all of those have iconic soundtracks already. So with this, they kinda had to get a little bit creative, but, I mean, the visuals are still just as good, and, the music is great. It's fantastic, and it's convenient because you can just walk up and start watching it. Um, and it's only like a 10-minute show, so you don't have to carve out a huge chunk of your night to go into that. I'm gonna have to disagree with your role plays there. I definitely think Orlando had y'all beat, although I do think Your Us was better. Not Killer Clowns, though, not Killer Clowns. Um, okay, so that's all we really can say for shows because
Yeah, I don't wanna spoil too much in case anyone who's
yeah,
listening to this is gonna watch it. I'll just say, without spoiling something, well, I mean, I guess you already know if you read the synopsis, what's in the show. I won't say what effects and stuff. I'll say Beetlejuice was missed during the show,
yeah,
and I'll say the properties they use, one property felt bigger and better and um, more of the main focus than the other 2.
yeah, and I think that the they're obviously it's not in an IP, but I think the icons are really the driving force
Mhm.
for the
And they
show.
they do a rather good job of, like, leading with them too,
Yeah.
and breaking it up.
So, in terms of scare zones then, um, a couple of them I didn't see a whole lot of over the weekend, but a couple of them I did. So, do you have, like, kind of a loose ranking for the zones or, like
Loose ranking. Oh, man. Oh. Okay, I can probably say, what was it? There's only what, 4? Wait a minute. 1, 2, 4 zones, right? Or 5? No, it's 5.
5, yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Gorewood, I think, is at the top, like, as
Mm.
in not the best.
Oh, so it's at the bottom.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Um, yeah.
I think for me, I'd probably put Crypt TV at the bottom right now, only because and it's not that I didn't like it really, it's just when I've only walked through it one time, and I've seen, like, footage from other people walking through it where there's a little bit more going on than when I went through,
Mhm,
and that area is just kind of a nightmare sometimes with the bottleneck. So, yeah, I'd probably put that at the bottom for now.
mhm. I think it's a interesting zone. You have to see the shorts, or else you're just looking at monsters. I mean, it really probably really, really helps to watch the shorts.
It gives you a little bit
But
of context, yeah.
but what I find was interesting too is as much as we were talking about like how the whole park is like metal, it's rock, it's loud. This zone is very, very different from Rob Zombie zone of last year, which was like, you know, loud Rob Zombie music and a
Mm,
lot of like fire and corpses and all that good stuff. In this zone, it's very slow paced, and like the way the scares are, they're not like, it's not like in your face. It's more in
yeah,
a
it's a little more
unsettling. It's
yeah,
creepy.
more unsettling, yeah, than, like,
Yeah.
full-on adrenaline type of deal, like
Almost
you said
like
with
it's
Rob
art.
Zombie.
It's almost like a
Yeah,
like watching an art house, horror movie, like Hereditary or something where it's not
yeah,
like jump scares, but it's like, "The okay, this is creeping me out. Like, I gotta
yeah,
leave the zone."
yeah, and I am glad that Walter from Milk and Cookies is represented, good on them for that. That was my favorite of the Crypt TV shorts just 'cause it was so goofy and kinda
Now
dumb.
I want milk and cookies. Thank you, Connor.
I always want Milk and Cookies, not gonna lie. Oh, shoot, Anne's in the chat. That's the homie right there.
Hello,
That's the
hello.
homie. Um, so, you know what? Let's just keep going in, like, a
Oh, yeah,
geographical
let's just circle
order.
around. So which way we're
So,
going?
we'll go towards
Well,
Gorewood
I
since
guess
we
we can't go through Simpsons because
yeah, there spoiler alert, no chainsaws in Simpsons this year. Um,
nothing
nothing,
in Simpsons.
nothing. Um,
Walter is the MVP.
yeah. Um, but well, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Gorewood,
Yeah.
um,
So Gorewood,
yeah. What did you think of that?
um, here's a hot take. Okay.
Okay.
Um, the way the community loves Terror Queen, I've never understood it. It's never been my thing. I'm like, "Oh, she looks cool." I like her minions. I never really followed that storyline because it didn't make much sense to me because she's kind of an icon, but she's not in the icon house. But is she the one that started this all or fear? It gets convoluted. Um, but half of the time when you see the Terror Queen, you're like, okay, so that's pretty much it. Like there's not much more. Like she does the cool sacrifice. I'll give her that. The sacrifice is cool when you catch it. Other than that, the zone is it's okay. It's not horrible. It's
Mhm.
not as bad as I felt some of the zones were previously.
Sure. I do think it's better than Vikings, which was at the
Oh,
previous zone in that
the,
location.
they worked hard on the lighting in the zone because you can actually see stuff.
Uh, I'm surprised to see you're disappointed. Hill House is elite, but we will get to the houses later. I think it was elite. It's a top 4 for me. Um,
Ooh, hot take.
but,
Stay
uh,
tuned.
yeah, so in terms of Gorewood, I think it looks really nice. I think the costumes are cool. I
Yeah.
think, there's some cool set pieces in the zone, but a lot of times when I walked through, it just felt like there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Mhm.
Terror Queen's stage and setup, which by the way, rest in peace, Eelmouth. Um,
Aw.
yeah, her little area is amazing. Um, so
But
it's just it's an
y
alright zone, I would
you know
say.
what's really hilarious about it?
What?
I was walking with I can't remember the person. We were walking through it, and they were like, "So, like, does the Terror Queen, like, have a motorcycle?" And I started laughing because I was like, "Yeah, well, technically, she did have a motorcycle back then, but it didn't I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would she have a motorcycle back in, like, whatever time period that was supposed it doesn't make
True.
sense." But she did at one time have a motorcycle, and she had bigger wings. Am I not mistaken about that?
Yeah, they reworked a lot of the, like, characters in the zone from what I
Mhm.
understand. I think they kinda made them look a little more, like, gritty,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, especially the Terror Queen, like, she looks like when you look at older pictures of her, she kinda looks like a human, you know?
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
the new Terror Queen looks totally non-human, it's like a totally like a creature
yeah.
type of thing.
like almost like Terror Queen was possessed, and this is like the demoned Terror Queen or something.
I also will say I did think the zone was better on the second night because the first night it was a torrential downpour, terrible rain. So they couldn't have stilt walkers out on opening night because of the rain. But it did not rain yesterday, so we were all good. We got to see stilt walkers and everything.
Yes.
So, but moving on to the Hollywood section, and I think this is the best zone at the event this year. And that is
Uh,
Lights, Camera, Haction, Eddie's Revenge.
yep. I was wrong again. I had zero interest in this. I'm not the biggest fan of Eddie as an icon, and I was wrong. I mean, I'm still not a fan of Eddie. Like, I still prefer the other icons over him. Although technically, I guess he's not an icon, but neither here nor there. But the zone surprised me. Oh my god! I don't want to spoil too much,
Yeah,
but
it
I will say, as a fan of Horror Nights, someone that's been going since HHN 13, this zone, it's I almost want to say it rivals the scary Ohio house or Cary, Ohio.
in terms of like
The
faithfulness
lore,
to
like the
the.
history, the lore,
Okay,
because
yeah.
you walk around and you're like, hey, that's from this, that's from that. Oh, that's
Mm,
cool. They got this. Oh, that is in here. Wait a minute, they have like those characters.
yeah,
Like in the house is such a, it's such a set thing. They can't really have so many characters, but they really pack the zone much more than what you expect if you've seen anybody um vlog the just the regular zone. They do bring set pieces out, so it does fill up the zone.
yeah. Um, I like Mew Maniac's comment. Stop hating on Eddie Tainman and his scare zone. Yeah, you had him at the end of your hype list, man. You,
Who?
Eddie at the beginning of the event.
Yeah,
You
and
had it at the
that's
bottom.
what's great about a hype list is that sometimes when you put something on the bottom, it surprises you and it blows whatever you thought preconceived out of the water.
It,
And then sometimes the things that you were hyped about could still be hyped or they could let you down.
that is true. And I'll say on the Eddie zone, like similarly to what you said, like Eddie is in the zone, but
But oh yeah, that's true. He's not the
he
focus.
he's kind of like, I mean, he's in like the middle of the zone. And he's got a little stage and everything, and he's there. But the essence of the zone is it's an anniversary zone, pretty much. I mean, you've got characters from so many previous attractions, and it's awesome. It is awesome. It's a super active zone, super fun. I was,
Mhm.
seeing characters so often. There are a lot of chainsaws. It's a nice spot to just grab a bench and watch the world go by because you got the uh, the chainsaws going, so you can just hear that and just enjoy those sounds. Anne's talking about the alien from Invasion. Yes, MVP for sure. We all love, well, except for Zombie Chris. You weren't a big Invasion guy,
I like
but
this alien though. This
okay,
alien's cool.
okay. But I was a big Invasion guy. I just love like sci-fi and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very good to see that alien again. But what do you say we move up to the front of the park scare zone? That is 30 years, 30 fears.
Um
It's another anniversary zone. It's
it, it's
previous
it's it's
characters.
it's a little empty.
It is. It's a little empty. The set pieces in the zone are very cool.
Mhm.
Um,
The
it look
flames, the
the
marquee.
flames are cool. Yes, the stages they're on looks nice. It's just not nearly as active as Eddie's zone. And I was very surprised that this didn't end up being an icon zone.
That is
Um,
so spot on, man. You're ripping from the silver screen. Now you're
it's
ripping the words out of my mouth about that because me
it's
and Eddie, or as everyone else says, Eddie-tainment, we were walking through the zone and we both were having the very same idea about that. We were like, Wait a minute. So they have the big gigantic posters of icons. You hear the audio of them, but they're not in the zone whatsoever. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point of the zone?
It,
If
and
30 years, 30 fears is the anniversary, don't you already have that in Eddie's zone?
that's the exact thing that's weird about it for me is that we already have previous characters in the Eddie zone. So you would think
Mhm.
it would have made more sense to have icons up front. And it reminds me a lot of the Harvest. I remember the Harvest HHN 28. It really threw people for a loop on opening night because we all remember Altars of Horror from 27, right? Like we saw the signs from the IPs go up, and then the characters from the zone were from the IPs from the houses.
Mhm.
The Harvest at 28, it was the same thing. We saw the signs go up from the IPs at the event that year, and they're like, okay, well they're doing this again. And the event starts, and it's like Scarecrow characters, and we were like, wait, what? And I had the same vibe here with 30 Years, 30 Fears. Like I was not expecting to just see random like characters from the past. I thought it was gonna be icons, like for sure.
And they're just or maybe in time they will show up. I mean, it would be a neat surprise for them.
Yeah,
Um, or by possibly, you can never know when a jack attack might happen.
that's true. And I will say also one thing that is pretty cool is like the two casts in 30 Years, 30 Fears. It's like different sets of characters.
Oh, okay. So that's
So
that's at least cool.
so you do get a little bit of variety, which is
Is it
nice.
like that in the Eddie zone? If do you know?
I'm not sure because there's just so much happening in Eddie that I wasn't able to track something like that on the
Mhm.
first couple nights. But in 30 Years, 30 Fears, there's like probably 7 actors in the whole zone. So it was a
Is
little bit easier to track what was going on.
and from there you move down to New York,
That's right.
and New York, you're going to seek and destroy.
Not a Metallica zone.
No, not a
Uh,
Metallica zone that we all thought.
yeah. I you know what? This is the zone that I've been seeing some people slander on Twitter. Um,
Ooh, boy, it's gotten a
and
lot of
but I'm actually gonna defend it because it's, again, similarly to the Eddie zone, it's very active, right? There's a lot going on, there's a lot of characters,
a lot.
and it's very, like, I I don't know how to say it, it's, like, cheesy, like, it's kinda dumb, which is a good thing. I kinda like that. Okay, we'll see you later, Anne. Thanks for stopping in. Um,
Have a good night.
yeah, like, it's cheesy, it's goofy, but I like that kinda thing, so
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
It's, you gotta turn your brain off when you go to the zone. 'Cause I mean, if you start to really poke holes and think about stuff, you're like, "This none of this makes maybe too much sense." I mean, are they aliens? Or are they humans? Why are some of them gigantic? Why are some of them just regular size? Like, are they from the future, but they're using chainsaws? I don't get it, but they
It's
do
not
have
what
a
I was
really
expecting.
cool, interactive element in the zone, which is it's hit or miss. I mean,
Mm,
it doesn't really have, much to it after the effect is done, but you're like, "Oh, that's cool."
yes, with, like, the big controller up on the
Mhm.
screen,
The controller sees all.
and he'll, like, it's like actually someone with a microphone somewhere who's actually, like, talking to people and stuff,
I mean,
which is
almost like, uh, uh, someone with a microphone that was in another zone talking to guests.
oh, I see where you're going with that.
Could be the same,
It could
maybe.
be, it could be. Um, but no,
But,
I do like the zone.
um, I it was funny, the first time I went through it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is a Connor zone, no offense, but this is Connor's zone. It's not mine, not
You
mine." And then the more I stayed around in it, the more I was like, wow, they are really packed. Like there's a lot of actors in this zone. Like you don't at one time look around and go like, dang, where's all the actors? Like it really feels like they just doubled the cast almost.
Yeah.
And I like that different there's different elements to it. Like you got the chainsaw people, but then you got like um the ones that are holding the, I guess, scanners. That's a kind of a cool effect. Then you got the ones on the stages, which is, it's just on a stage, but it's still cool that kind of
Hmm.
gives it that separation in the zone. And then there's also characters that are on top of the towers and stages on the left and right side of the streets.
Yeah, the ones with like the cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed a little bit.
Chainsaw
They're
robot
like they're
things. I
standing up
like
on the
that.
towers. I'm waiting for them to do a leap of faith into a random pile of hay somewhere. But yeah, like first of all, I love how you're like, this is a Connor zone.
Oh,
Literally,
that's funny.
what people are like, they see something kind of dumb, cheesy, sci-fi. They're like, oh yeah, that's Connor's thing. But it's true. It's true. It's true. Um, so I would say, and I also will add, just as an overarching thing about the zones, I definitely think it's not a coincidence that the two zones that have like the most actors on the ground are the ones with the most like space, right?
Mhm.
Because there is still a situation going on. Don't know if you've
Ah,
heard about
good
it.
good point.
So I think those like real bottleneck areas, they wanted to have less roaming actors just because of the circumstances of life right now.
Mhm.
So I don't want to knock them too much for that,
Yeah,
for safety precautions.
but,
But
something I will say, um, because, for folks that are listening and you're wondering about the vinyl, about the plexiglass, so Universal, their golden rule is for all their team members, and this goes for monsters, ghouls, leather faces, whatever. If they're inside, they have to wear a mask. It's there's no buts about it. They have to wear a mask. Those who are outside do not. So when you're walking around and you're seeing most of the cast and you're saying like, oh, they're not wearing masks. Why are they wearing masks inside the house? That is why. Um, I did not notice it at all. Maybe they do a good job of hiding it in the streets because I couldn't tell anybody wearing a mask if they were. Well, besides, the regular like ghouls and monsters that have the big mask on. But inside the house, I did notice it multiple times. It's something they can't get around. Maybe it harpens your experience. Maybe it doesn't.
yeah, I thought the when I saw like a character, like a face character wearing a face covering, I think they kind of themed them well. It didn't really detract.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought the vinyl was pretty close to like a non-issue for me personally. I mean, there were a couple instances maybe, but for the most part, I didn't really have a problem with it. It didn't take too much away from me.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously, the set design in the houses is all still magnificent, and this is a very good segue because we did just run through the zones.
Correct. And while
Um,
we're in New York, there are two actual haunted house entrances. One is HHN icons captured, and then the other one is that lovable welcome back tooth fairy.
yes. Which one?
Which
Which one do we
one?
start?
Yeah,
Which one
which
do we
one do
start
we
with?
start with?
We hit Tooth Fairy first.
Ooh, yes, please get it out of the way.
Yeah.
I made it no surprise last year that I was not very much a fan of the house. And once again, I am even further not a fan of the house. I thought maybe the time and separation, maybe in my mindset, I was thinking we would be past this pandemic and scares would be, back to what they were. And maybe I would see the house in a different light.
Mhm.
Um, I will say, doing the Unmasking the Horror Tour, I did learn that they did work on a few things in the house. There are
Yeah.
some added characters, not the actual Tooth Fairy like we all wanted. But there are some things they tried to kind of alter here and there because it was the same experience. So well, I don't want to spoil, but there are some differences between what was last year and this year. Not
Yeah.
enough if you went last year that you'd be like, whoa, whoa, this is a totally different house. But there's just a little touches here and there.
Yeah, I would say I like this house. It's alright, but it does kinda get pushed down the order because of the quality of everything else, right? It is, it's alright, and I definitely noticed on my walkthrough that there were some new characters. I did notice that, and I did notice that actually some plexi was removed from some of the more open areas,
Mm-hmm.
um, like, I believe that bedroom scene, and then, like, the very beginning scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I definitely think it's improved from last year, not enough to, like, make a massive difference, but yeah, no, it was cool. I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, there's not too much to say about it really, but the other house in the New York area, there's a lot to say about, I would say.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Yeah. The
and that is
icons.
HHN Icons Captured, and I do like what Cult Leader said there that, the full face Jacks and Icons look very convincing. Yeah. So they actually had, like, Jacks wearing masks, but not like your face covering mask, it was like a full face mask, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So it's
and it looked
I
really good.
believe they can get away with it because technically it's a full mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This house is so good. Like, I it's a top 2 for me. When I
Ooh.
walked in and this was also number 1 on my hype list going in, um, and I've seen, to be fair, the 2 that are my top 2 houses is what I've seen most people have as their top 2 houses on Twitter, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
This thing, the first of all, the facade is, like, so cool,
Yeah, that
like,
facade is really
and
something. Wow.
and and they hit, like, everything really, like, all of the icons are,
Captured.
represented. Yes, captured. But, you got your caretakers, you got your Lady Lucks, you got your chances, everyone. Even like what Cult Leader said, not expecting
Spoiler.
yes.
Well, technically that is not what we're seeing.
Yes, it's, just random mirrors.
Yeah,
We'll say it's
that
just
is right. It is a
random
random
to
transition scene with some
yes,
drop doors.
totally not a reference at all. But it was cool, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Um
They're like, "Hey, you can take photos in every single room except this one."
but it was pretty awesome to see that even got a nod,
Um,
and
I'll throw you a curveball here.
okay.
What is your favorite room?
Um,
Like, because you know how each icon kinda has their own, like, set piece. I mean, what is the one where you're like, like, "I love this room," or, like, maybe there was an effect in the room?
it's really difficult. The director's room was really interesting because, um, just it just felt like everything was vibrating and, like, it was kinda crazy. The storyteller section, um, might catch some people by surprise. Um,
Yeah, because they did twist on her, which was I was not expecting.
yes. Um, Jack's room is really nice. I really like when scare actors are kinda elevated and stuff,
Mhm.
but it is so hard to pick against that last room.
I think yeah, good point. I think my favorite, if one thing sticks out, it's, the director when he does um, the lighting film trick. I don't wanna spoil it. Not that
Yeah,
it's a big trick, but it is really cool when you see it from one angle and you're like, "Oh, whoa, okay, that's kinda cool."
yeah. A couple comments here. Did Lady Luck actually look decent this year? Yeah, I think so. I think it
Yeah,
I think
because there's
Lady Luck looked pretty good.
multiple Lady Luck.
Yeah,
So there is the demon Lady Luck, and then I believe there's the normal.
yes. And then, do we know how often a new winner yeah, it's every single cast change.
I was
It's
told,
different.
and I'm not sure. I was told that there's something almost like a 10-minute change, like they switch
Really?
out every 10 minutes, but I don't know if it's. I thought it was originally going to be per cast, but April
Hmm,
said that she had heard it was supposed to be every 10 minutes, but I don't know.
okay. Well, either way, like, there's, like, I think there's 7 different icons that can take the throne.
Wow. Yeah. So you're definitely going to see somebody different every time.
Who have you seen? Who have you seen?
The first time was director, kind of fitting because my first year was the director.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was perfect. And then Jack.
That has a couple good ones. Also
Just
seeing he said also seeing Fear was cool. Dude, I only got 1 walkthrough of this, so far, and unfortunately, Fear was not in there when I went. So that was a little disappointing, but I'm sure I will
yes.
see him. I'll
Fear
We'll get
Fear is
plenty of
cool,
chances.
and every time I go through, I make it a tradition. If I see Fear, I bow to him, and then I bow to whoever won at the
Yeah.
end.
So for me, the winner was actually the Usher, and, it was cool. I like the Usher, so I was happy with it. Um, I would love to get the chance to see all of them throughout the run. Who knows? It's literally a total crapshoot, but
Yeah, is that going to be on your like the coaster count? It's going to be your HHN count.
Probably not. Probably won't do a
Oh,
separate count for that.
all right.
Um,
There you got. See who won. Do all the
yeah.
tally marks. Oh, lucky you saw Jack win both times. So now you got to see him win a third time. That would be the prize, the winning prize.
So let's move along to the other soundstage
Cool.
houses.
I'll give you all a little inside secret.
Okay.
Since we haven't posted our Unmasking the Horror Tour video yet, in the finale room, there's tons of stuff. So just FYI, if you do the tour, it is well worth it because this house, there's so much stuff you do not realize, you don't see. But I'll give you one little Easter egg. In the winning room, if you did not notice this, it's very, very hard to notice it. The winning, you have to look above them, above the throne. There is actual in the rock work, Jack's face.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
I will look out for that. It is crazy. Like the amount of little things they put in these houses. Like there's just no way you could ever see it all unless you do something like that. Unmasking the Horror Tour. I mean, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for more runs of icons. I'm definitely gonna try and hit it a lot. Um,
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Um, yeah, between the fog and the darkness and running around, it was very hard to see
yeah,
everybody.
it was chaos this weekend for sure. Um, but yeah, let's keep moving to the other soundstage houses and let's go
Yeah, we're
to
gonna we're
Texas
gonna go
Chainsaw.
counterclockwise.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
TCM.
And just a little spoiler for everyone here. This is actually my bottom house as of right now.
Boo! Everybody in the chat, boo Connor.
But I will say this as well. I don't think it's bad. It's just again something has to be number 10 and it's the quality of other stuff. Um and I think my only my issue with TCM was I just got 0 scares.
You're just not in the deep in the heart of Texas.
I got 0 scares, and the thing is, like, you'd hear the chainsaw, like, way before you would see anything happen. So
Well,
be like,
yeah,
"Oh."
that's the timing. They'll get it down.
I think this one is gonna get better as time goes on. I did not see that review, Mew Maniac, but, I can agree with it. I think there's a lot of things that I saw in that house that made me think, "Okay, there's potential." And I think it could very easily not be number 10 at the end, but just based on the limited run, that I had opening weekend, just as of right now, it was probably the least effective for me. What do you
Um,
think?
I was a fan of the house when it came. Uh, boy, this is the HHN age where you start blending and losing, like remembering of things. What was it, 26?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
96.
So me and April were already fans of the house then. We got to go through multiple times. We even did the house by ourselves. We were terrified. I was really terrified going into this house, thinking I'm gonna have that relapse of it being really, really scary. And it wasn't as scary as I was kind of hyping it up in my mind to be. Don't get me wrong, it is a extremely dark house, and if they didn't maybe have the plexi, I mean the vinyl, I think it could be even terrifying, like even more. But there are what I really enjoyed about the house is the fact that yes, it is similar to HHN 26 house, but what was cool about the unmasking is that you got to see, and then they explained that the house is actually similar but different. They flip things. So like in one room where maybe you went left in that house, in this you kind of go backwards or you're going right. Or in one scene where Leatherface slams the door, which everyone who's seen Texas Chainsaw knows that scene. In this house, we actually go into that room. There's also a lot of cool kind of effects which you don't expect in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. You expect just chainsaws, but there is I don't want to ruin. I'm not going to spoil, but Connor, you would know the double scare,
Mhm.
the you know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that gets me and April every time. Like we kind of run cuz we don't like that scene. There's that one, there's the sparks, like that's a neat effect.
Yeah, that is
It's
cool,
done
yeah.
twice in the house, which is really, really cool. And I love the finale. I think the finale is like really terrifying.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
really throws you.
if you like Leatherface, then that
Mhm.
finale is for you.
Mhm.
And I will address here, cult leader, do you think if they use street saws instead of using sound triggers, would it help? Possibly, but I think with, like, the fumes, that might be
Yeah, that was talked about on
and
tour. It's an absolute like they will never do that. Um, it can never be done. So that's why you have the real chainsaws in the streets, and these are, you know, um, e-prompts.
yeah, but, I mean, to answer the question, like, regardless of the possibility, like, whether it's possible or not, would it be scarier? Possibly. It might make it a little more unpredictable,
Mhm. And
and
there are some
the street saws are definitely louder, I would say.
and there is, I believe, one or two things that I did see over the weekend, and I asked our tour guide, like, "Hey, what was that?" And he said, "Oh, they're still currently working on some effects. Some things might be, you know, like worked out, and some effects might not be there." And that's also in this house and the HHN icons captured. Um, I'll put that in the video, but there is something also in that house that's a really cool effect, but I don't think they're going to work it out to be done.
Okay. Like, you don't think it'll show up throughout the whole event?
No, I mean by this next weekend, if it's not in there, I don't think they're gonna do it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, let's keep on moving. We have one more soundstage house to cover, and that is The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. Another one
Back,
that
you vile
will
beast.
this one was also open last year, and I still think this is a gem of a house. I think it's great. I think the storytelling is so good and unique. I love the angle they took with the story, how it picks up right after the 2019 Monsters House. Um, there's some really creative scares in here as well, and the set design and everything is just amazing. I love that room where like one of the Dracula brides is like in the like the handcuffs type of thing, and it's just
Oh
such a cool
yeah.
room. The facade as well is a showstopper. I think it's a gem. I love this house.
Mm-hmm. Loved it last year, and I love it this year. It's not as hyped, obviously, because we have other houses that kind of pushed it along the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
But still a stellar house like last year. Did you notice anything that was any different?
I I'm not 100% sure, but I think isn't the finale scene where the bride is like resurrecting the monster?
Mhm.
Was that a little plussed up?
I think so.
Because I don't remember
It
there
felt
being a
longer to me, and it felt like it matched with the trailer.
yeah, and there was an additional character in there that I don't remember there being
Mhm.
in the walk in 2020. So, but other than that, not a whole lot changed, and that's
Yeah.
okay because it was already really good. Um, and it is a little tough to remove that bias of like, well, it's not like shiny and new, right? But
Yeah.
it really is phenomenal.
And I'll give you a little bonus here. So they said the plexiglass or the vinyl it ruins scares, you know, because folks see it and they know, oh, there might be a scare here. So they said in the coffin room or the room that has the coffin, they decided, well, what we are going to do this time is put vinyl over each coffin, so you can't tell where a scare is going to come from.
Mm, yeah,
So
yeah.
that was kind of added.
That's a cool way to do it. One thing this year I think that makes the vinyl a little bit less of a problem in terms of scares than last year is the pacing of the houses. Um, last year when you would go through like Tooth Fairy or Brides, like you had to stop a lot because you have to wait for the party in front of you to get so far away, and you'd kind of be able to scan ahead and see like everything that was coming, especially with the lack of like transition curtains and stuff.
Yeah.
But in this, like, you're walking the whole time, and a lot of times I found that by the time my brain registered that there's vinyl there, the scare had already happened.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, no, Bride again, it was very good. It's a good house for sure. Um, so, unless you have anything else to add, should we keep going?
Keep on going.
Yeah, what do we have in the Shrek house this year?
Shrek House is Legendary Truth, Case Files Unearthed.
Close. Case Files Unearthed,
Darn.
Legendary Truth. So you got a little bit
Oh,
flipped.
bum bum ba-dum.
I'm gonna
I
be
know
honest.
Connor loves the house. He when we were going in for the first time, he turns to me and he goes, "I really hope they really nail like the noir. I hope it like plays just like that classic noir detective novel."
Mhm.
And I think they nailed that.
That's exactly what it is, really. It's like that mixed with sci-fi creatures.
Mhm.
So, this is definitely, like, in terms of the vibe of the house, this is, like, exactly what I'm looking for. Um,
Would you
and
almost say this is about as close, I guess, to a comedy house that we have this year?
well, I think there's
Or lighthearted, I
one
mean.
other IP in the back of the park that would fit that bill the
Oh,
best.
yeah, good point, good point.
But this one, I mean, it's obviously not as dark as something like Hill House, you know? It's definitely got some fun to it, and,
Mhm.
it's long. Like, it's really long.
It really is.
Like, Clowns, which is, you know, I mean, it's Clowns, it's my favorite movie of all time, I adore the house. It didn't feel that long, though, and this is the same location, but this house felt like it was going on forever.
Mhm.
Um, I will say this is this is in my elite category for sure. I do love this house. I think we missed some scares on our walkthrough, but on a walkthrough where all the scares hit, it's gonna be really good, dude. And, and, another thing, it definitely helps to have some background knowledge going into the house, I would say. Like,
Mhm.
kinda knowing maybe who Boris Schuster is and what the legendary truth is. Um, it's pretty much just like Boris Schuster is a detective who founded the legendary truth, and you're kinda going through, like, his writings about cases that he's studied. So, I think if you have that background knowledge, it actually will make you appreciate, the house a little more. But what did you think?
You know, when she walked into the office, I knew oh, no, sorry. Uh, but, yeah, there's parts of this house that nails the noir, and I love those little subtle touches, like the detective coat, the mannequin smoking thing,
Mhm.
the jazz music is just it's crazy. Um, it certainly at times has some cool stuff, and then there's some stuff where the general public might shake their head or they might go, "Oh, well, that's really goofy." Some of the creatures in here are cool. Some of them I think are a little flat. Um, for me, it I don't consider it a legendary truth house whatsoever. I felt like the legendary truth is added on at the end or,
It's
certain parts here and there.
I would say to me, it almost feels like a Legendary Truth prequel.
Ah, good
Like,
point.
now that I think about it, right? Like, it's kind of Boris's cases that don't necessarily have that much to do with the Legendary Truth in the context of the event.
'Cause see, yeah, it's hard to follow the story, like, in that final scene,
Mhm.
that's supposed to be kinda like The Office with all the files and stuff, and I'm wondering, that's a good point, where, right here, cult leader, in the house of the end, the legendary truth, it doesn't give you hope LT will have a larger presence in the future years. And with you saying it almost feels like a prequel, like the end of the house is like the start of legendary truth because he's been kind of finding all these weird, legends and stuff. I
Mhm.
can kind of see that now. That is interesting.
Yeah, it's kinda like 2 bookends in a way, like, the start of the
Hmm.
house is, like, someone in his office, like, looking through his files, right? And then you start seeing
Ah,
what's in the files, and then you come back to the office to suggest, "Hey, you know, you've seen what's in the files," and then
wow.
you obviously see the legendary truth thing at the end, and maybe that means, "Hey, now legendary truth exists." So
Now
maybe
I'm really gonna have to like rethink when I go through this house
th
again. That's interesting.
this
Thank you,
is
thank you, thank you, man.
I think this is one of the most, like, redoable houses because there's just so much to catch in terms of story beats.
Mhm.
It's gonna be so redoable, and I don't think it's gonna have one of the longer waits throughout the event. I think it's gonna be one that you can hit pretty easily. Um, but yeah, that's the legendary truth. Should we move along to the parade buildings?
Yeah, see?
All right. Which parade building do you wanna start with?
Ooh, we can get the ghost with the most out the way, the one, the only. Say it twice, say it third time's a charm.
The Juice Man.
Beetle
So
snake.
so LT is the sleeper hit of the event called I would say actually, I would probably say so, yeah. I think it is a sleeper hit.
Whoa,
I
wow.
think it is a sleeper hit,
Throwing
especially with
out some
GP.
bombs.
Especially with GP, because I think this is one that might get overlooked. Um, but yes, Beetlejuice. You can start with this one.
Beetle guys. Ooh, man. So I did the preview last year.
Mhm.
I was maybe I was excited because it was like, oh wow, they're opening it up. I had like got up really, really early, drove down there just to do the house. Um, loved the house back then. Loved is maybe a far stretch. I enjoyed the house back then. This time, I've went through, I think, twice, maybe once or twice over the weekend. I'm forgetting already. This is why you always gotta do like Connor and save what you did.
Yes,
Um,
house counts. House counts on a note
house
app.
counts.
On the note app.
The run through I went through, I was like, wow, I'm I don't know what happened. And it's not like the house definitely did not change from last year. There's not anything added. There's not, I mean, pretty much the house was 99% done last year, and it's the exact same thing. I don't know. Maybe it was the cast I went through. I just wasn't feeling very happy going through it.
Mm. Yeah, I would say so I did not get to the preview.
Mhm.
So when I did Beetlejuice, this weekend, it was
Ah, okay,
fresh.
it was
It was
yours
brand
first
new.
time. Okay, yeah.
Um, it was a shiny new toy for me, and, we literally got out of the house, like, right before the park closed. So, this was, like, the last house that I needed to do, and I got it done, like, right at the end of the night. Um, and it was cool. Like, I think some of the set pieces were really good. Um, obviously, plenty of iconic stuff from the movie. I think just about everything you'd want to see from the movie is in there. I
Yep.
can't think of anything notable,
I
like
can't think of anything they left out.
yeah, I can't think of any, like, notable omissions.
Yeah.
Um, there is not a huge cast, for sure. There are definitely houses that have more actors in them. Um, it is fun to see Beetlejuice just 'cause it's Beetlejuice. Um, I again, it's another situation where I think the quality of other things is gonna ultimately overshadow this one a little bit, but
But this house is always gonna have a long line.
and another thing is it does have a pretty freaking awesome ending. Like, I'm not gonna spoil that, but it's the word that I'll use is gigantic.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, that was pretty awesome, and, yeah,
I
it's not at the bottom, it's not at the very bottom for me, but, you know, there are
and,
other things that I definitely like more.
a good way of thinking about it, the house is the way April kinda said what it was. She was like, "Other houses is it's kinda like their job is to scare you. This one is like, 'Hey, Imma jump out, but we have dialogue to go through.' So
Yeah,
if you're a fan, you're gonna be, like, reciting the dialogue or,
yeah, it's like
kinda
a book
being in
report.
character." Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
It's about what you would expect from a Beetlejuice house, in all honesty. I think the only thing that would make it better is simply if there were more actors in the house. That's
I
about the
could
only other thing you could
I
expect.
think I could think of one thing they left out, and I think it would have been better.
Okay, what's that?
In the scene where Beetlejuice kicks over the tree and grabs his crotch and goes honk honk. They totally was not putting that in there. But that would have been cool
That would've
just
been
to
cool,
hear
yeah.
that. Nice model. Bump bump. Um, so now we can move on, I think, to the
Yes,
other parade, which coincidentally both deal with the afterlife. One a little bit
yes,
more funny and one's a little more serious,
a little
although
bit.
I don't think the afterlife is always funny. Um, but this one, ooh, the
Haunting
ghost
of Hill
house,
House, yeah,
the
it's
haunting,
prob
the house with ghost.
yes, the funny thing is these 2 are right next to each other, the 2 big IPs, and,
Oh, good point, yeah.
wait, who's commenting using the Boo Bros channel right now? Which one of you is it?
You
Um,
never know.
well, what's going on, bros? Uh, it's funny because these 2 are right next to each other, they're the 2 big IPs. Beetlejuice, probably the least scariest house of the event, I would say.
Mhm.
Right next to Hill House, which for me personally is probably the scariest house at HHN 30, for me personally. For my personal walkthrough,
Wow.
this one was the scariest.
Scariest, huh?
I would say so. I mean, okay, so I walked through everything once, except I got 2 walks of Hill House and 2 walks of Scary, and Hill House is the only one that really made me jump, like, really made me jump, and it happened more than once. So, I think it's the scariest, and it the facade is, I mean, it's completely unbelievable. Like, when you walk inside that parade building and you see the house, it's, like, jaw-dropping, and, all the iconic characters are in there. Um, the design is amazing. I appreciated it even more the second time because I went in while it was dark outside so I could see a little better. It's a very dark house for sure, and yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous and it's very scary.
I think you said pretty much everything I was gonna say. Um, gorgeous, yes. Terrifying, yes. Um, hmm.
Shout out to the bowler
Um,
hat guy for wrecking me.
yes. Shout out to also I is it considered sewer creature or sewer
The
ghost
the
or
basement zombie?
there we go, the basement zombie. Shout out to that one.
Yes.
Um there's what I enjoyed is that they did do the slow build up.
Mm,
And, I did enjoy the effects of the house because I've always been very interested in haunted houses and effects that they do. Not so much just the scares, the mask, yes, but also effects. And this house definitely doesn't, skimp out on ghost effects.
Yeah, there's so much uniqueness to what's going on. Um, Couple things here. Knights of Horror, Mr. Tony, how's that facade? You're probably gonna shit your pants when you see it, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right.
also
Yeah.
Avion's in the chat,
What's
and,
up?
I was hoping you were gonna come in here,
Oh no.
and I really wanna hear how your weekend went for sure, and, it's actually a perfect transition because of the next house that we're gonna talk about.
Is pumpkin oh wait a minute. Oh,
Yeah, the Puppet Theater, Captive Audience,
they're
is
captive.
one of our 2 pop tent houses,
Mhm.
back there by Men in Black, and Puppet Theater, I got through it, last night. I do not know if Avion saw me walking through. I do not know if it was his cast or not. But what did you think of Puppet Theater, Chris?
Um it's been a long announcement for this one. We've been sitting around, yeah, and not the gumdrop, but um we've known about this house since last year, and it was the whole question in the back of my mind was like, wow, you know, kind of felt like Universal was ignoring this house because it was announced, but then they just never talked about it again. And being that we saw so much of it, was it going to feel like, oh wow, we've seen so much of it already? It has a lot in there, a lot to digest. There's some neat effects in there. It doesn't fall short on the scares. I love the concept. The concept is brilliant.
Mhm.
Horror Nights has been on just a crazy run of doing these off the wall concepts like this one and the Wicked Growth. Um, the one scene that they did is just wow. Like the way you feel about the haunting Hill House, the facade there is how I felt about that room in the middle.
The one where
Uh,
it's, like, high up, there's a high up actor?
mhm,
Okay.
and not only just the high up, but when we stood in there for the unmasking horror tour, and you really got to just stand there and look around, it is a mass like, how did they fit that in the tent? I
Yeah, that's
do
my
not
biggest thing.
know.
Like, that was built in a damn tent.
Yeah, and there's, like, a character above you, there's a gigantic stage, there's at least 4 or 5 characters in the room, or at least 3 or 4, but
Mhm.
it's just a massive wow. Really good house.
Yeah, the aesthetic of this house is really nice.
Mhm.
Um, Another room that was very impressive, I think it may have been right after that room, and it wasn't even for the tallness of the build, but, like, this is where you're, like, under the stage, and there's, like, someone standing in the middle of the room that's, like, on that little thing.
Yeah, that was something they explained on the unmasking,
Yeah.
which I don't think I didn't catch that the first time. So it was supposed to be almost like how in the olden days that the actor like were under the stage, and if you look up and you would see the red curtain, like
Yeah,
he's
the
about
detail,
to
like,
yeah, he's about to come up to the stage and recite.
the the attention to detail of, like, when you look up and you can actually see that you're, like, under a stage
Mhm.
is pretty nuts, to be honest. Um, when I went through this house, I missed a lot of the scares. Um, just I was just unlucky on that front, but I could really see, like, just how good it actually was. I was like, "Man." Like, the aesthetic and the I think there was a lot of creativity in the scares. The one that comes to mind is the wardrobe room.
Oh
Um,
god, no. F
I'll
Sorry,
tell
Avion, but yeah, F that room.
I'll t that guy, jumped out a little bit ahead of me. If he would've got me directly, I probably would've been had. Um, and also another great facade for this house,
Yes.
another
Oh,
really good
I'll
facade.
give you 2 unmasking, tidbits here. If you're standing in front of a sod and you look up at the sign of it, there are 2 letters missing. Those two letters are A and D for the art and design. That is a
Mm.
nod to them, as well as when you come around the corner and you look up on the wall, there is a name up there, and that is a nod to Caretaker because
Oh
it
yeah,
is
Alkane.
yeah,
Yeah.
Albert Kane, yeah.
Yeah, man. Avion, great job. Tell the cast that we said it was a great job. Well done. We love puppet theater. Um, but I'm gonna be honest with you.
Uh-oh.
There's another house next door,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
called The Wicked Growth.
Woo!
And for me, this is the MVP so far. This house is the embodiment of Halloween. There are pumpkins, there are witches, there are goblins and ghouls,
There's more pumpkins?
there's a reaper, there's more
Woo!
pumpkins,
Damn.
there's a ridiculous bridge effect. Um,
Ooh.
there's a indoor facade that again, it's like, how did they build this in a tent?
Yep.
I mean, it is. I'm at a loss for words. It is incredible. Are you as high on this house as I am, Chris?
I'm high, I'm floating. I'm pumpkin spice, I'm pumpkin seeds, I'm pumpkin loaf, pumpkin cookies, whatever pumpkin I can get. Pumpkin in a can. Uh
Yes.
it's oh man, it's such a gruesome, dark, fearful house. Like and the way I don't know how they designed this house because the scares in this house are amazing. They will have you running and dropping because they I don't know how they do it because most houses especially because we've gone so much like you're kind of used to the pattern or the spacing. They don't waste space in this house. No, 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 no. Scare there, come around the corner. No, no, no. We
Relentless,
got
yeah.
we got a couple more for you.
Relentless.
Um there is also a tidbit in this house. There's certain parts that are nods to a former icon that, that is not around. It's not a
Oh,
real
yes,
icon, but there
one that
was an
never happened.
icon.
It was
Huh?
it was drafted up but never happened.
Yeah, yeah. So there is a nod to him. And the Pumpkin Lore himself, that is a neat effect.
Yeah, what a scene, what a scene.
Um, I learned that the Pumpkin Lore has multiple things he can do as far as like what he presses.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's funny to hear him talk. He's like, I'm the Pumpkin Lore.
You wanna wait, how does that go again? Can you, repeat that?
I'm the Pumpkin Lord, and Halloween is about me. I think that's what he was saying to me.
Can we get a whole event that's, like, where the Pumpkin Lord is, like, the icon, and just all the original houses are pumpkins? Like, oh my god, and there's a couple other scenes that really stand out. I did mention the bridge effect.
Yeah.
Um, I
There's
agree
there's
with Benny. Benny, he said Wicked Growth was long too. It did feel long.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the houses feel long.
Yeah.
Um, and and another room that we didn't talk about that really impressed me was the witch's room.
The Witch
Um,
Room? Yes.
because like her book lights up and like
Mhm.
it's just so cool, man. It definitely brought me back to Scary Tales, the Hansel and Gretel room in Scary Tales. It reminded me a lot of that, which felt good because I was a big Scary Tales
Yeah.
guy in 2018.
And, what they
Oh,
were saying also is, like, in the beginning, you notice the vines are small,
mhm.
and through the house, the vines grow because they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and towards the finale, they're, like, strung everywhere because they're bigger. It's just us going deeper into the growth,
Oh,
deep into the darkness of it, so little
yeah, that
nods like
attention to
that,
detail, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, wow. This is my number 1 as of right now. It is spectacular.
Mhm. I'm
Um,
terrified to go back into it again. I'm terrified now.
well, we only have 1 more house to talk about, and that
Only one
is
more? It always felt like when you're like, "Dang, we did all the" oh, wait a minute, we got 4 more houses to do.
no, we just have, the MIB tent location house this year, and that is
Oh.
Scary, which is effectively the anniversary house, where you go through well, you kinda go through scenes from previous houses set in Cary, Ohio,
Yeah.
but not exactly. Like, they're not exact replicas of the scenes, right? Like,
Ooh.
they're kinda like reimagined versions of the scenes using, like, the characters from Cary, Ohio houses.
Mhm.
For example, like, the first scene that you see, it's a house that you're very familiar with, um, and they totally reworked the character design.
Yeah, because they don't look like the creatures. They don't look
Yeah.
how we look back then. So that's why I was like, "This is not the spawning."
Yeah, you were
No.
so confused.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? This is not
Yeah,
that."
um, I think this house gets better as it goes. Um, one a house that I was happy to see represented in there was Hive, just because that was a house that was on my first year. I do think it's a little underrated, so it was kind of fun to see them again. Um, yeah, I agree, Benny. I was like, "Where's the stilt guy?" Um, if he was there, I definitely missed him. But uh,
Oh,
but see, even when we walked through the Hive, you know, I don't remember any of the scenes in Scary that were particularly like just taken straight from the Hive.
yeah,
You know, it's like a new scene using Hive characters.
yeah.
Was it the same for something like Dead End?
It's hard to remember Dead End so much. Like, the ghost, I guess, kind of looked like it.
Mhm.
Um, it's that's the thing, like, with trying to do an anniversary type of house and doing it like this style, other than, like, I would say, like, HR Blood and Guts is very direct, but some of the other stuff, it's you don't know what you're, like, in.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't explain it or someone tell you, you would have thought that was some other house, not Dead End,
Yeah,
'cause it could have been anything.
I think that one might be the hardest to, like, register unless you know going in that Dead End is a part of it because that's, like,
Mhm.
the only thing it could have been. Um, and obviously, like, Leave It to Cleaver was a pretty obvious one. Um, I'm not sure if it was a direct scene, but it was very obvious where you were.
And you did this house, the second time, right? Or the second day?
No, I did it the first day.
Oh, okay, so they did add something. I'm not gonna say where,
Oh,
but they did add something.
interesting. To that
Mhm.
section?
I'm not gonna say where,
Okay, okay.
but when you do it again, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, okay, that's cool."
Alright, I'm looking forward to that then. Um,
Well, don't let me
and
hype it up.
and then another cool thing, I think probably
And
the
don't spoil it in the chat.
probably the for me, the coolest part of this house was, the orphanage, um,
Ah, little
because
Cindy.
you get a little kind of a facade, a little midway through the house facade. This was a scare zone, correct?
Orphanage? No, it was an actual
Was it a
house.
house? Okay.
Yeah, it was,
Um,
set in the Jaws
okay,
queue.
I think I'm thinking of the schoolhouse then.
Yeah, the schoolhouse is in
Okay.
here too.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I get those 2 mixed up a little bit, which one was a
Yeah.
house and which one was a zone. But that was really cool because you got, like, a little facade and obviously again, it's not exactly an icon, but connected to the icons similarly to the way Eddie's connected is represented in this section, which is really sick, really good to see. So, this isn't one of my favorite houses, but it is fun. It is cool.
Yeah, I had this being very high up on my hype list, and it I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Um, it's kinda like it's nicely in the middle. Like, I would
Mhm,
easily go to some other houses before I went to this one, but
mhm.
it's not bad. I do have fun in it. I'm a big fan of HR Blood and Guts. Um, some parts are good.
Yeah, yep. It's, yeah, that pretty much sums it up, like, it is fun. And I think the coolest thing for me is, you know, I've gotten so into the history of the event, So now it's kinda like getting to see these things that I missed when I was either too young to go or I wasn't going yet. Um, I got to see things from the past that I've always thought was sounded cool, and I got to see the Hive again, which was cool because that was part of my first year. So, yeah, there's definitely things to like about it. It's got a nice facade as well. So, well, we've gone through everything. We've gone through everything,
Wow.
except for Nightmare Fuel because neither of us have seen that yet. But
Yeah.
other than that, we hit it all. Let's see. Do you feel like splitting up the icon and anniversary houses is a better experience? Base fans can recognize icons and hardcore fans. I do. I like that they're separate. Um, I like that we got both an icons house and a house that basically features scenes from the past. Um, yeah, what
Yeah,
do you think?
'cause
Do you like that split up, Chris?
I do because, the icons is so like, because you really think like, "Oh, they did a house based on icons," like, "Okay, wow," but once you go through it, you're like, "Oh, dang, they really did fill the entire house," because, 1, you forget how many icons there are
Mhm.
and how much they can explore in their scenes.
I think it also gives both things the proper ability to shine. Like, the icon house, you can just focus on the icons and allow them to shine, and then with the scary house, you just focus on past years and allow those to shine, so it kind of makes them both stronger, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they both have that opportunity. Um, oh, that's great. Benny's first house was Hive.
Oh.
Mine was The Shining, but I did go through Hive on my first night, so it definitely brought back some memories. That was very cool. Um, as far as food, I see a couple of you talking about food.
In time, yeah, a lot of the food, they had a bit of complications this weekend with the food. A lot of places either had
Yeah,
long lines or some places kinda ran out of some food here and there. Um, we'll definitely be getting to food. I can tell you I had the, exclusive, Monsters Cafe, dessert,
mm,
which is like, what is this? It's sort of like they called it like a ice cream or some kinda type of cake. Um,
huh,
you'll see it you'll see it in my, unmasking video. Um, it was an interesting thing. I don't think
yeah,
Eddie cared for it too much. I thought it was okay. It needed some kind of ice cream with it or something, but that's about the only food review I
right.
think I can do. Oh, Twisted Tater. Yeah, a like, like a podcast or something, Twisted Tater
Here's
Talk.
what I can say about Twisted Tater is I did not once see even a slightly short line for Twisted Taters this weekend.
Yeah,
It
that
was nuts.
line, bruh.
It was nuts. Like, the demand for Twisted and pizza fries as well, the demand was, like, pretty unreal.
Oh,
Um,
you're right. I forgot about the Leatherface, the cherry pie thing. I didn't see anybody really on that side eating the stuff, matter of fact.
yeah, so I will say this, people know this about me, I'm a little on the cheap side when it comes to, theme park food. I'm usually strictly the thing I'll eat at Horror Nights is Louis garlic knots, which is
Or a
not a
cookie.
specialty item or a cookie. Um, but there are a couple things that intrigue me this year, namely the deep fried peanut butter and jelly, to me,
Ooh,
sounds
damn, that
very
sounds
interesting.
good. Oh, yeah, and I've had the deep fried Oreos before, and this is kind of like this is a good throwback that they're actually bringing the Oreos back this year like that.
Yeah,
Oh, and Twinkies too.
um, Tony asks, "What are we hitting first on Friday?" Dude, I don't know, man. I mean I
See it.
kinda wanna leave it up to
Oh, man.
you.
I hate that you guys are going on Friday. It kills me.
Oh, yeah, you're going elsewhere, right?
Yeah, going to Hollow Scream,
Yeah.
everybody. So look for coverage on that.
Universal Food Blog said that PBJ is the bomb. Okay, I mean, I definitely wanna try it, like, it sounds very
And
interesting.
if you are not, go check out Universal Food Blog.
Yes, if you
Definitely do it.
definitely the MVP of
Especially for
food
this
coverage,
event,
yeah.
you're gonna wanna know all the stuff that's coming out, what's good, what's not. Check it out.
I would not get any event food without Universal Food Blog posting about it first,
Mhm.
so I know it's good because 'cause
Seal
I'm
of
cheap, I don't wanna
approval.
waste my money. Um, But to go back to Tony,
Oh,
dude,
Tony.
I'm so conflicted because, like,
Does
on
he
one
have Stay
hand,
and Scream?
yeah, I think you have Stay and Scream, right, Tony?
I think, yeah, he said he was gonna be in the park during the
But
day.
man, Stay and Scream was a nightmare this weekend.
Mhm.
I'm not even gonna lie.
It was a horror night
We can talk
nighttime.
about that for a second. We can talk about, like, the overall experience, like, how hot it was, which is, it is what it is, but
Yeah.
they totally
He
did it differently, like, in terms of how they did, um Tony said to get him onto the show. You wanna send him a link? Would that work?
it does. Hold on, let me see. How do I do this?
But yeah, just to touch like, it was really hot, it poured rain. I did not bring an umbrella because 'cause I'm dumb, so I just had to take it, and, my shoes were wet all night. That's your basic summary. But the Stay and Scream's different because you can't really sit inside as
Mhm.
much, and it made it really difficult. But I will say this, Tony, there is there are a couple houses that I'm 100% taking you through. I kinda wanna start with Hill House, just because it's gonna be cast A, which,
But
I know a couple, monsters in cast A. Um, I kinda want you to come through that cast, so I'm kinda leaning towards Hill House,
but
but
don't go alone,
I
alone.
I definitely wanna take you through the tents, like Wicked Growth Puppet Theater. Um, you gotta see Case Files, and,
Well, he's
Icon.
gotta see it all. What do you mean?
And Marathon of Mayhem. We have to do Marathon of Mayhem.
And Avion said he's on cast A.
You are on cast day, okay, okay. Avion, did you see me last night when I walked through? What can you tell me where you are? 'Cause
No, he will not
I
tell you.
well, not here, not on the public chat necessarily, but I like to cheer for my homies in the houses, you know? I like to cheer when I walk past them and,
Oh,
throw
shit,
my
I gotta
hands up.
add him. There
I
he
don't
is.
Oh, man.
Tony's in Tony is in. He's at the
It's
tail
like the
end of the
Royal
call.
Rumble. Here he comes in.
Give me Ultimate Warriors music. I wanna run down to Florida.
Has this broadcast hyped you up a little, Tony?
I caught up until when you guys talked about Hill House because I just got back from seeing Shang-Chi. So
Oh, okay. Was it
but
dope?
it was, oh god, I think it's one of my top 5 Marvel movies
Holy
of all
shit.
time. Of all time, dude. The
Holy
fighting
shit.
is great. Overall, just a great film. But that's not what we're talking about.
Right, yes.
No, I did not get Stay and Scream, but I do have daytime tickets and nighttime tickets. So I mean, I'm
So
just
you
gonna
I
do
have
mean,
have
that means you have Stay and Scream.
yeah, as long as you stay in the park.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
you can
Well,
leave, but
I,
just
I I
come.
didn't specifically buy that ticket. Like, if that was
You
a
don't have
ticket
to.
sold. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to the park during the day, and then I'm gonna
Wait a
just
minute.
stay for night.
Which daytime ticket do you have?
Just the one park, one day thing.
So
So
is
that
it studios?
no, I'm doing Islands one day and then Studios
Oh,
another day.
shoot.
So
Okay,
that's
so
giving me
if you
complication.
do if you do studios on Friday and then stay in the park, like, as long as you're in the park before
Before
5 PM,
5, yeah.
then you're fine. Then you can
Okay,
still.
so how does that work then? Do I just got to pull up the Hornets ticket when that's ready and then just have them scan
Yep,
that?
yep,
Yeah, so what you
Okay,
do is you enter the Stay and Scream area,
right.
you get inside of that, they'll just scan your Horror Nights ticket.
Okay.
but yeah
Um,
yeah, what's kinda drawing your attention right now?
I have honestly, like, this is the first in-depth conversation I've heard about the event so far
Mhm.
because I've been really trying to avoid
Oops.
spoilers, everything. But like,
Oops.
it's
But
you.
we did a
No,
good job of
well,
not
it's YouTube,
spoiling.
but it's YouTube, so I'm gonna support YouTube, obviously. But
Aw.
um,
Let me say
plus,
this, by the
it's
way,
been a while since we got a Connor and a Chris
be
podcast, so
before you continue, I just wanna give some people context. This is Tony's first trip to HHN Orlando, so
First time.
just for
yes,
context there.
This is his first time seeing everything, like the islands, just the house, the sound
the
stages,
park in general, dude. Just
wow. Yeah, City
stepping
Walk.
foot in Florida in general will be my
Oh
first time
god. So
ever.
let me explain. How are you when it comes to heat?
I mean, my fucking office is pretty goddamn hot right now, so
Okay, so
I can
never
bear
mind.
with it.
You're gonna be prepared.
I'm a shorts and a shirt guy. I already planning on. I'm gonna probably bring a hoodie because I did see it rained opening night. So
You
Tradition.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I mean, in my opinion, a Horror Nights event out there doesn't go smooth until it rains at least once, right? So,
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's just kind of like the Horror Night gods being like, oh, we need a little rain for good luck for the season.
But the good thing is they usually still run the houses, except in Avion's case, as he mentioned, that Puppet Theater literally flooded. Like
shit.
We got out of Wicked Growth on opening night, and we were like, well, logical thing to do next is Puppet Theater, but it was like, yeah, sorry, you can't do it. It's literally flooded. So
for Friday, the plan is, I'm just gonna let you take me everywhere. I don't know where anything's at. I don't know. I'm fresh meat going into a new.
You are his tour guide.
I'm gonna take you to my favorites. I don't know if I'm gonna stay all night, but I'm gonna take you to my favorites, and then you can hit anything.
But Tony, if you stay till closing and we're able to wrap up, we will definitely pop up.
I'll be there all night, dude.
Oh shoot.
So just let me know, and we'll have. I need to see. I mean, I'm glad I'm going to see Connor. It would be nice to see you and Losh, but if you guys can't make it, I completely understand. You guys.
We're gonna pop up some way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there
like Jack.
Friday and Saturday. So, oh my god, I don't even get started with. That's the person I'm looking forward to seeing the most.
Oh shoot! You got to experience a Jack attack.
Oh man, I'm so excited, dude. I'm gonna be like, Jack, come on the podcast right now.
Cult leader
said, right here in the goddamn middle of the scare zone.
Cult leader said it's just a little moist heat. That is the difference between like California heat and Florida. Like ours feels like you're like walking through a layer of water.
Right.
Like the air is so thick. It's pretty gross. Not gonna lie, but hey, maybe it won't be as humid when you're here. Maybe we'll get.
I'm Mexican. I can handle it, dude.
All right, that's fair.
Just drink plenty of fluids, and I don't mean the other fluids.
Cool.
Yeah, no.
Got you. Micheladas all the way around.
Watch her.
Oh, I'm excited now. I'm like counting down the days, man. I mean, we are literally. It's been a long time coming, planning this trip, and the week is finally here. And
what a year that you chose too.
To be fair, I purposely chose this year because I knew I couldn't miss the 30th. I couldn't miss the 30th, man. I couldn't.
Mew says famous last words.
Oh shoot. No. What y'all don't know about Tony. Tony is a beast when it comes to like frights, haunted houses. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't really get
let's just
scared.
Put it this way. I'm a 2-time back-to-back 2019, 2020 try not to get scared champion. I mean, it really is one of those things where instead of getting scared, I just laugh at it because it's so fun.
Right. I have noticed like over the years, I've definitely gotten less like scared in the HHN houses just because I've kind of become like privy to their tricks over the years. But like I said earlier, Hill House got me like 3 times.
I have to say though, I have to ask the question just because I'm a fan.
Okay.
Do they play any Metallica and Seek and Destroy at all?
No.
God, no.
Missed opportunity, bro.
You were going to love the park-wide music though.
I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
I you know what I'm really excited to see is I'm excited to see the Lagoon show, dude. I want to see that.
Oh snaps.
Tony, there's not a chance that you're coming to that event with me and not watching that.
We're watching it, dude.
I go to that every night.
Yeah, dude. Well, listen, the plan is I got general admission both days. I couldn't afford to get front of the line because I spent.
You're not gonna need it if you have 2 days. You'll be all right.
On the daytime, because I spent the money on the daytime tickets because I do want to see the park during the day too. Like I want to ride some rides. The ones I can fit on at least. And I'm excited, dude. To hang, hopefully meet some of you guys finally in person, dude. I mean, it's a little hard when we're on 2 different coasts and we're trying to collab with content. If you guys only knew the struggles we had to go through just to get a couple of boo bros on a video throughout this last year, I mean, you would know the struggle is real. Like we're constantly texting each other, like who's available to do what. So,
and I do want to address Cult Leader's question because he asked it earlier and I totally forgot. What do you guys think about that? Universal, they're using Beetlejuice as an IP this year. Do you think Graveyard Review? I can't see it happening.
I'm gonna say I can't see that either. Yep,
but I would love it.
Yeah,
I've never seen that show, so I can't really comment.
So I think this is about the extent that Warner Brothers is going to allow.
Well,
yeah.
So
or whoever owns it.
Warner Brothers owns Beetlejuice. But Beetlejuice. But there is talks of Horror Made Here coming back next year out here in California.
Yeah, that'll change things on the Warner Brothers.
It's going to change stuff a lot for Horror Nights if they want any Warner Brothers IP. We might, if this event goes on next year and it succeeds and it continues to go on for the future, we could possibly see Warner Brothers exiting Horror Nights. Or if it's a property they don't know how to tackle and Murdy for some reason knows how to and the Orlando team knows how to, then we'll get it. So
the hope to see Pennywise dies for another year.
Yep.
But Tony, as someone coming in for your first time at Orlando, like what house or houses are really jumping out at you? Like these are the ones I need to see.
Well, it's glad you said that, Connor, because I'll share some, but we have a full video breakdown of my most anticipated for Orlando right here on the Boo Bros. So if you guys after the stream, go check it out.
Nice little plug.
But the one I'm looking forward to the most is Icons because not only I'm a huge fan of Jack. Jack was the reason why I even sparked interest into this event, and not only to see Jack, but like I've seen one of my favorite intros that they ever. I think it was 15 or 16 that they did where they had the devil on the fucking chair, which I thought was Legend from the movie Legend. When they had that whole opening where they each there was the 4 icons and they each got to kind of share their story and they were killing someone and stuff and they were doing their thing. That really opened my eyes to more of the icons and it was really cool to see them. So I'm cool. I'm just excited to see icons, especially the one that got snubbed due to 9/11, which was Eddie, dude. I can't wait to see
it. Yep.
I know. And I
soak up the Eddie time.
I really did pick the right year to come because Eddie Taman and I have talked about Eddie a lot on, East versus West. So now to finally kind of, take what I pictured in my head and see it in real life is going to be really cool.
By the way, speaking of which, Eddie is in the chat now. He just said, live show, #BooBros.
My man.
Unfortunately, Eddie, you came in at the tail end of this, but it is nice that you're here. And I had a lot of fun last night. Me and Eddie hit some houses. I made him stay way later than he expected. I made him close the park. Oops, Oops.
Next year for sure. I'm gonna be there opening weekend.
Oh man, you heard it here.
That will be a fun Boo Bros reunion right there. And then hopefully maybe some of you guys come out here, man. I want to see,
next year.
California.
Not Scary Farm is waiting for you guys, man. The Fog, Ghost Town Streets are waiting for you guys to come out and see them, man.
Yeah, not to get too off topic, but I cannot wait to see the Scary Farm coverage this year. I want to see what that new house looks like.
Mesmer looks like it's gonna be dope.
They just every time a new house comes in, it's just like there's just levels to it. Like
that's like the quality that Orlando puts in their original mazes. Like Knott's is the closest thing to an original experience from Orlando.
Knott's is the best event out there.
I personally think so too. I really do. I think Knott's is the premier haunt event out here.
Yeah, yeah. Eddie said. So okay, here's the story. Right, last night I get there. I watched the Marathon of Mayhem at 11. I'm like, yo, Eddie, are you still here? And he's like, yeah. And I show up, find him. He's like, I've got like 1, maybe 2 houses in me. He fucking stayed till 2 a.m. He stayed till 2 a.m.
That's a little past his bedtime right there.
Yeah.
Old man.
Once the train gets rolling, it's hard to stop it.
Oh,
it is hard to stop it.
Listen, I can go. I'm going all day to the park. I'm going all night to Horror Nights. I could pull a fucking all-nighter, bro. Just let me know. We'll fucking do this. But the main reason I bought, on top of visiting the rides and stuff, the main reason why I bought day tickets because I actually want to take my time and walk through the tribute store. Another thing I've always wanted to see is the tribute store. Last year's was fucking beautiful, from what I saw.
It was.
And this year's looks fucking beautiful as well. So I can't wait to see that. And I already have a lot of people hitting me up like, I'm gonna Venmo you money so you can buy me some stuff at Orlando. And I'm like,
you're like, yeah, I'm gonna also charge the sales tag.
I know. I should double. Like, okay, a shirt's $20. Give me 40.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to pay for shipping and handling.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm looking forward to it, man. How is Beetlejuice? Was it different anytime this round? Did any of you guys get to go through it last year?
Yeah, I did.
Was it any different this year, or was it the same thing?
Nope,
or?
Same house.
Well, it'll be new to me. So I mean, that's one of the mazes I'm excited for. I love Beetlejuice.
Snaps! So. You're a fan of Beetlegeist, the Beetle Man?
Yes, Michael Keaton, man. He just anything he's in, I'll watch.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for you to see everything for sure.
I know, man. I'm glad we get to hang at least one of the nights, man. You're gonna have two towers just walk in the streets, and it's gonna be terrifying. You're gonna think we're the characters, we're not.
If anyone sees us out there, say what's up. We're the two towers,
man. The two timers. Yep.
Say what's up, Boo Bros.
It's gonna be fun though, man. I'm excited. I think you and I might be doing a vlog that night for Boo Bros.
I would imagine that probably would happen.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever done a collab video with any of you guys in person. So I know I haven't. What do you mean I don't think? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think you've been to Florida.
Let me get some Doctor Strange powers. I could just get a portal and go through there, so. But I'm looking forward to it, man, and I'm glad you guys had a great weekend. I heard nothing but great stuff about this weekend. TLEV was just out there this last weekend. Those bastards, they saw I was going, so they're like, we got to go a weekend before him. And
TLEV,
that's always how it is, So, but no, I'm glad you guys had a great weekend. I'm hoping I could see, I know I'm going to see Connor. I'm excited for that. Hopefully I can see you, Chris. I hope Losh stops by maybe, and whoever else is out there. I wish Eddie would come back, but I know how money is, and yeah, it's you can't do back-to-back weekends, but we're already planning out. I told them for next year we're gonna plan opening weekend together, and we'll get it all done.
But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. We've been on for a while. We talked about all the zones. We got through all the houses. We talked about the marathon. And we had Tony on for the last few minutes here to talk about
there's still so much more to experience at the event. Jack Attacks, the Legendary Truth game, or the game. We didn't talk about that because none of us did it, but there's an interactive game.
Jacked Up Experience, Sick Cabana.
Mm-hmm. They're always adding stuff to the houses. So by the second weekend, there might be new stuff.
I got to try pizza fries.
Oh, shoot.
I have to try them.
Well, I think it's pretty much. I'm not the biggest pizza fry guy, but I would say that it is like an institution, and you're gonna have to wait in a long ass line if you want them. So
I might not have to try them.
Really? Do you? Is that a tradition, or is Twisted Taters or Twisted? Is Twisted Taters, right?
Yeah.
So which one is the Hornets tradition?
I would say both.
How about a nice tall can of Modelo, and I'll be good.
Louis garlic knots and a sealed water bottle from home.
Do they sell like Modelo and shit in the park, or is that only out here?
I have no clue.
Modelo? That would be Eddie would know.
Eddie. The only reason I say that, it makes more sense out here in California because this is it's the Mexican culture out here, man. So you're gonna see Modelo in the damn beer stands.
Oh, you're going on the 13th. Is it Friday the 13th? No.
That's like, what day is that? I don't even know what
that's a Monday.
Monday
the 13th.
Wait, they're running the event on Monday the 13th?
That's new to me, unless he's going through the day.
Maybe it's October?
Oh, maybe. I'll check the dates right now. Let me check the calendar. Let's see. October. 12th, well, Sunday. Do they run the event on Wednesdays?
Yep.
October 13th is a Wednesday, so
they always run it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
He said he's going to be there on the 12th of September.
Yeah, they're running that Sunday.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know where it's coming from, but I heard a rumor that James Keaton last year playing Jack. Have you heard this?
I have not, but you never know. You got to enjoy it every year you can, for sure.
Yeah, you got to
slide him a business card real quick. Hey, I got a podcast. I'm just saying.
Oh, there you go. They don't have that.
Yeah.
Modelo.
Oh, they don't. They got pumpkin beer though.
That's right.
Yeah,
are you a fan of pumpkin beer?
I'm not really a fan of pumpkin anything.
Oh shoot.
That's something?
So he's not going to enjoy the house.
I like pumpkin cookies.
You know what's funny is that house was on my list for anticipation was ranked very low.
What
Ooh,
was
this is gonna be interesting.
Wicked
Pumpkin?
Growth, but I'm
Wicked
hearing
Growth?
nothing but
Ooh.
good things about it now. So
Okay.
you know, it might, and that's just anticipation. Like I'm gonna make another list after I've gone through everything, but I don't know. I mean, for me, I've already seen a pumpkin style original maze over here at Knott's
Pumpkin
with
Eater.
Pumpkin
Yeah,
Eater.
but this is
But
another level.
and that's why my expectations are a little bit higher because you know I know how good Orlando does their fucking
yeah,
mazes.
and I love Knott's, and I think there are some Knott's mazes that are outstanding, and that one is good, but Wicked Growth is like
Really,
crazy.
you think Pumpkin Eater is good?
I mean, it was okay.
I mean,
based on POVs, right?
I mean,
you weren't big on it, but
nah.
well, anyways, I think we can go ahead and end it here.
Yep, I'm ready,
it's been
man.
fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
been
fun.
good. I mean, tune in next weekend. I'll be there. Connor will be there. Potentially Chris, maybe Losh. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think Losh said he'll hang out with me in the daytime at the park, so that'd be cool. But I'll be there next weekend. West Coast is invading the East Coast, man, and we're coming in full force, man. We are so excited. I'm excited. I'm glad you guys had a great weekend, and good luck to any scare actors who are watching or everybody that puts on this event. For one, thank you for doing this for us after a long year of the pandemic, and thank you for having to put up with so much every night to put on one of the best premiere events in the world. So,
absolutely. I don't know how you're gonna follow that up, but Chris, you got any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone who commented, interacted. It's been fun. We'll try and do more live streams. I know we haven't really done many on this channel, but
hold on. I think someone else wants to say something.
Oh,
hey, this is Chucky. Do you got sci-fi? Check out my new series premiering October.
You know what's funny is he's all over the merch at Hollywood, making me think he was probably supposed to come last year.
No, he's just always on the merch.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the lanyard, and it's literally Frankenstein's monster, the bride, and then Chucky's on the very top. I'm like, you don't even fit in this lineup. Like, put Dracula's bride into it or something. Like, why Chucky? It's like Chucky and then Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. I'm like, what?
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a great night.